You can sit down, love. Alright, good evening everyone. My name is T.Curran, and this is my third speech in Communications 13-15, Public Speaking 1. This is a persuasive speech as to why we should all save for retirement. So, who here wants to be destitute or reliant on other people to support them when they're no longer able to work?
Not me.
No one. Good, that was the correct answer. So, today I'm going to talk you through why saving for retirement is a good idea. I'm going to give you some statistics on life expectancy in this country. I'm going to talk about how much the average American is actually saving towards their retirement. And I'm also going to talk about how we can all save towards that goal and the different methods that we can use to do that. So now that I've given you an introduction as to what I'm going to talk about, the first thing we're going to discuss is life expectancy and average states of retirement savings. So the average life expectancy for a person who makes the age of 65 is 84 for men and 86 for women. A quarter of people who reach that age will live to 90, and a tenth will live to the age of 95. So even if we just take the first two figures, the average length the person will live in retirement is 20 years. That's a long time, that's half of a career. Now thankfully earnings tend to peak shortly before retirement, which is a good thing. 36% of working Americans only have $1,000 saved towards their retirement. 60% only have $25,000 saved towards their retirement. So that's not even really 1 year's worth of income for the average person. In addition, defined benefit pension schemes are becoming increasingly rare. That's a scheme by which an employer will pay you a fixed amount agreed in advance upon retirement. So now that I've talked about life expectancy, I'm going to discuss why saving for retirement is a good idea. So there's a lot of uncertainty over the future of the welfare state at the moment. Social Security is unfortunately a giant pyramid scheme, and we, when I say we, our generation, people in their early 30s or younger, are at the bottom of the pyramid. So we're going to pay into the system, but probably we're not going to get anything out of it when we retire. So we need to think of something else. We need to plan not to have that income. We don't want to have to rely on others. I mentioned earlier that earnings tend to peak shortly before people retire. So we've already got to a certain kind of lifestyle, and we'd like to be able to prolong that for as long as we possibly can. And there are also tax advantages when it comes to individual retirement accounts or IRAs. Saving in a tax-deferred account reduces your income tax liability, and also saving in such an account produces compound effects on your return on investment. So now I've talked about why retirement is a good idea, I'm going to discuss the different options which are available to somebody who wants to plan for retirement. At the very least, you need to match the 401k contributions that your employer offers. They'll typically give you a percentage of your salary, and it's a good idea to at least try to match it if you can. You can take out an individual retirement account, tax-free. There are tax advantages to doing that. I suggest that your spouse would do the same also. And something else which I think is very interesting and is not my own idea, it actually comes from Dave Ramsey, who is responsible for the Financial Peace University, which is this publication here, which is very wonderful. And there's a monthly retirement planning section here in the back. But one of his suggestions is that you put aside at least $15,000 and just have that in a mutual fund whereby it doesn't earn anything particularly in terms of interest, but it's easily accessible, and it can cover such difficulties as repairs on a home, repairs on a car, if you unfortunately, for example, lose your job, if something else comes up, medical expenses, then you have a cushion which can help in times of difficulty. It's also best to try and diversify a portfolio. There are many different ways to invest, and it's a good idea to try and take advantage of as many of them as you possibly can. people who are very reliant on stocks and shares, for example, we know that the stock market can crash. It happened in 1873, 1929, 1987, and it can and probably will happen again. So if you have a portfolio that takes into account precious metals, property, mutual funds, money market accounts, then that's more likely to give you the kind of return that you want should any one of them not do particularly well at that moment in time. And what I mean by that is when it comes to retirement. So now that I've talked about the different ways in which you can save towards retirement, I'm just going to conclude my speech. So first of all, the average American is not saving a sufficient amount towards a comfortable retirement. Saving for retirement is a very good idea for a number of different reasons. There are lots of different ways that we can achieve this particular goal. And remember, we all want to be financially dependent when we are no longer capable of working. So it's never too soon to start saving for retirement. And it can just start with a single dollar. Thank you. Thank you very much.